Okay, on the record in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Misty Jones, file number 22-02933. Council appearance.
Jeff Rodowitz on behalf of the people, Your Honor. Jacob Rowley on behalf of Misty Jones.
Okay, and so we reset this probation violation hearing because Ms. Jones had requested a public defender. Are we having a hearing today?
No, Your Honor, no deeply.
Okay, and so the violation, Ms. Jones, again, was that you failed to pay restitution owed to Ingham County Animal Control. The amount is $1,517.64. Looks like your current balance is $1,467. And you have the right to have a contested hearing on that violation. Want to waive your hearing? Okay. You raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give is the truth and the whole truth under penalty of perjury? Thank you. You understand your rights to have a hearing today? Anybody threatening you to get you to waive that hearing? Any promises being made to you? Okay, as to the violation that you failed to pay restitution to the Ingham County Animal Control, the amount of restitution $1,517.64. How do you plead? Factual basis.
Your Honor, Ms. Jones, is it true that you were sentenced to a term of probation by this court in February of this year? And is one of those, one of the requirements of your probation that you would pay a certain amount of restitution to animal control? Is that correct? Is it true that as of the time that this violation was written, which would have been October 6th of this year, you had failed to pay the amount of $1,517.64?
Any questions from you?
Nothing from the people, Your Honor.
The court is satisfied with the factual basis. I'll accept your plea if I get plea made freely, voluntarily, and intelligently. I have a recommendation from your probation officer. It says you had not paid much money for restitution that was owed, that your overall attitude is good, but your progress is fair, and acceptance of responsibility is good. It states here that they're suggesting that your probation be extended. And that you were to make sure you set your first appointment for community mental health services. Have you done that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, when is your appointment?
I don't remember the date, but I already had.
You've already had your first appointment? Okay. And are you seeing them regularly? Having appointments regularly?
I have one appointment and get the paper that the probation officer requested.
Okay. And are you employed at all? You said no? How do you support yourself?
My husband and mom helps me.
Mr. Raleigh, you can address the court before sentencing.
Your Honor, I do want to relay the fact that Ms. Jones did make a payment for the restitution today, this morning. So she has made a significant dent in the balance. How much is your? So she has $767.28 remaining. She tells me she can have that paid off by the end of January. So I don't know if it's really necessary to extend her probation. This was recommended by this report. I think she has a plan in place to complete those payments.
What's the plan?
I think she can pay $200 in December, is that right? And then the remaining balance by the end of January.
What day in December?
14th and the 28th.
$100 on the 14th, $100 on the 20th. Is that what you're saying?
200 each time.
Okay. December 14th, and then 200 December 20th. And you're gonna pay the balance when?
The end of January.
And you paid $100 today, you said?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna discharge you from probation. I'm referring this matter or the balance of collection. You'll pay $200 on December 14th, $200 on December 20th. And then you'll pay the balance no later than the end of January. Do you have any questions?
No.
Any additional matters for the record, counsel?
Nothing from the people, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. You're all set.
You can,
You're welcome. On the record in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Michelle Wagner, file number 22-02935. Council appearance.
Jeff Brodowitz on behalf of the people, Your Honor.
Jacob Rowley on behalf of Ms. Wagner.
Okay, Ms. Wagner, again, today is your date that was reset for a hearing on a violation. Your violation is that you failed to pay fines and costs, that you had a balance of $668. And that you failed to submit to testing at EverHealth on September 26th and September 28th. Are we having a hearing, Mr. Rowley?
No, Your Honor. It will be free.
Okay, you understand your right to have a contested hearing, ma'am?
yes, ma'am.
Okay, you wish to waive your hearing today?
Yes, ma'am.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the information you're going to provide is true to the best of your knowledge, information, or belief?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. You can put your hand down. Okay. Okay, and so anybody threatening you to get you to waive your hearing today?
No, ma'am.
Has there been any promises made to you in exchange for you waiving the hearing?
No, ma'am.
Okay, and are you entering a guilty plea to the violation that you believe you're guilty?
Yes, ma'am.
As to the violation that you failed to pay fines and costs and that you had a balance of $668, how do you plead?
Guilty.
As to the violation that you failed to submit to random testing at EverHealth on September 26th and September 28th, 2023, how do you plead?
Guilty.
Factual basis, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Wagner, is it true that you were sentenced to a term of probation by this court in February of this year?
Yes.
Is it true that one of your requirements imposed by the court is that you were required to pay a certain amount of fines and costs?
Yes.
Is it true that as of October 3rd of this year, you had an unpaid balance of $668?
Yes.
Were you also required to submit to drug and alcohol testing as part of your probation?
Yes.
Is it true that you failed to submit to testing on September 26th and September 28th of this year.
Yes.
I believe we have a factual basis. Your Honor.
Mr. Broderick, any questions?
Nothing from the people, Your Honor.
When satisfied with the factual basis, I'll accept your plea to the violations. I find your plea be made through voluntarily and intelligently. Okay, so suspended probation was ended on October 6th. Bennett has since missed both October tests as well. Why were you not testing, ma'am?
I was either working, 'cause I can't get in the morning, 'cause I work late at night. And then when they reopen, I'm already at work,
Do your work hours.
2 to 10. And they don't reopen until 4.
You 2 in the afternoon till 10 in the morning,
10 at night,
10 at night,
and they
okay.
don't work or reopen until it's like 4 to 6 or 7.
They only open from 4 to 6 during the day?
The testing place is only open during certain hours at night, and I'm already at work by that time,
Okay, you notify your probation officer of that?
numerous times.
And I'm a little confused, and I just thought about this in the last file. I'm trying to understand the calculation of the restitution. I see I ordered $1,203. Did you make payments?
Yes,
Okay, so your balance is $668.
correct.
So you've been making payments, correct? Okay. What are you gonna do about your balance?
I'm gonna hopefully have it paid off by next month, but definitely by January.
Are you suggesting a payment plan of a certain amount on a certain date?
I can do 100 the first part of December and 200 by the end of part of December, but it should be paid off by then.
You can do $100 when in December?
On the 6th, which is next week,
And when are you gonna make your next payment?
and it'll be 2 weeks from that, so it'll be like
Is it another $100?
200.
200? And then you hope to have the balance paid in full by the end of January?
It'll definitely be by that January.
Okay, I'm gonna discharge you from probation and refer the balance to collections with that payment plan, okay?
Thank you.
Do you have any questions?
I do not.
Any additional matters for the record, council?
Nothing from the people, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Thank you, you're all set.
Thank you.
You're welcome. On the record in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus April Patrice Reed, file number 22-02159, council appearance.
Chris Broderick on behalf of the people, Your Honor.
This is the public defender, John Lee, on behalf of April Reed.
How are you, Ms. Reed?
How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Today was the date set for a probation violation hearing that you were previously arraigned on. The violation alleges that you displayed assaultive or threatening behavior on or around September 3rd, 2023. Are we having a hearing?
Yes, we are, Your Honor.
Please call your first witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. People would call Miss Giselle Wilson.
You can come right up this way. And just stop right there and raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give is the truth and the whole truth under penalty of perjury?
Yes.
And you can have a seat there, ma'am. And there's a microphone that's in front of you. The lady behind you is the court reporter for today, and she needs to take down a note on what you're saying today. We're recording this to make a record. So your responses must be clear and they must be verbal. You can't do head nods and shakes, okay? Okay, spell your first and last name and then spell both of them.
Giselle Wilson, It's Gisele, last name Wilson.
You can proceed, counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Ms. Wilson.
Hi.
Ms. Wilson, how are you employed?
With community mental health.
And what's your position at Community Mental Health?
I work as a house manager in a group home.
Okay. And as a house manager in a group home, what do some of your responsibilities entail?
Scheduling the staff, making sure like the things in the house run smoothly as far as making sure my clients go to their appointments. I schedule their appointments. I make sure they're safe. I manage their funds. Pretty much like the daily life kind of job.
And at the house that you manage, is there an individual there by the name of April Reed?
Yes,
And do you see Miss Reed here in the courtroom today?
yes.
Can you please indicate where she's sitting in an article of clothing she's wearing?
She's on my left hand and she's wearing a navy shirt, glasses, and like a red shirt underneath.
Please let the record reflect that Mrs. identified the defendant.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
ID is noted.
So, Ms. Wilson, are you aware of an incident that occurred? And I guess just real quick, what is the address of that group home?
2921 Aurelius Road.
All right, is that located in the city of Lansing
Yes,
in Ingham County?
yes,
And just, are you aware of an incident that took place there on September 3rd of 2023?
yes.
And how did you become aware of that incident?
It happened that night. So when I came in the morning, one of the staff told me what had happened that night.
And what,
Objection, Your Honor. Since this witness has no direct knowledge of it, she didn't witness anything, she wasn't there.
Counsel, did you want to address the objection?
yes, Your Honor, this is a probation violation hearing. I believe the rules of evidence do not apply to that, so I believe hearsay is admissible in this hearing, so I would ask the witness be allowed to testify.
Objection is overruled.
So, Ms. Wilson, what did you learn had happened that night?
I learned that it was around 8 o'clock when April Reed requested to get her meds from staff. But at that time, she usually gets her medicine around 9 o'clock, closer to no, it was around 7 something. And she gets her meds at 9. So April Reed was requesting to get her meds, but it was too early to get her meds. So somehow the staff was telling her, you still got a whole hour, wait a little bit. But April Reed got so agitated to where when staff was walking away, somehow April Reed grabbed the staff's hand.
Grab the staff's hand.
The staff's hand, yeah.
Are you, just really quick, do you remember what date this happened?
I don't remember. It was in September.
Okay, was that at the, let me ask, was it at the beginning of September or the end of September?
I want to say the beginning.
Do employees make incident reports as if something like this happens, do employees make incident reports at the house?
Yes,
Okay. And are those kept in the normal course of business?
yes,
Okay. If you saw a copy of the incident report that you're referring to, would that refresh your recollection as to the date that this happened?
yes.
Oh. Permission to approach here.
You may.
You can just take. And then just look up when you're done. Just as to the date.
Yeah,
Did that refresh your recollection?
yes.
Permission to approach. And what date was that, Ms. Wilson?
September 3rd, 2023.
And so when Ms. Reed grabbed the staff member's hand, what were you informed happened at that time?
the staff asked April to let go, but she did not.
And did Ms. Reed do anything else at that time?
No,
Okay. Are you aware of any injury that was suffered by the staff that night?
yes.
Okay, and what was that?
Well, I didn't know there was an injury that the day that I was notified, but then as part of our job, we send our staff to get medical to see if, you know, if there's an incident aggression, we send our staff to the hospital to make sure that they're not hurt. So the staff got back with me saying that she had a broken thumb from that incident.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
Trustee Sam.
Thank you for being. I'm sorry, Judy Giselle?
Yes,
Ms. Giselle, you are familiar with the incident report in question, and
yes,
my reading of the report indicated that the meds were actually supposed to be given to her at 8 p.m. You testified here today it was 9 p.m. Is there a misunderstanding?
yes. There's, no, yes. The thing is, she takes her meds. She's supposed to take her meds 8:00 a.m. and then 5 p.m. and then 8 p.m. But based on the way she wakes up, she can take it when she wakes up. So if she takes it 8:00 in the morning, then it's okay to have it 8 p.m. at night. But if she takes it at 10 o'clock or 11, then we have to push the hour later.
So
If that
on
makes
that
sense.
day, she took her morning meds later, so her night meds had to be later
Yes.
too. Okay.
Yes,
Do you think she understood that?
I think so. Yes,
Do you think that her disease states contributes to some of her behavior that you see, like grabbing somebody's hand?
yes.
And is it unusual for your patients to advocate for themselves, to ask for their meds?
Yes, they have the right to do that. Yes.
And what evidence did you have that the staff members' injuries were attributable to what happened with Ms. Reed?
Because after that incident, like I said, we told the staff to go to get seen, and then she came back and told us that she had that injury. And then she had to do some therapy afterward.
And the only witness to the actual incident was the staff member themselves.
Correct.
And I don't know if I'm allowed to ask this. Do we know why the staff member chose not to be here today?
I don't know. My understanding, last time we were here, we were told that we were gonna reschedule this so you guys can get a hold of the
Yeah.
staff to come here. So
No further question. Thank you.
Any more questions?
Nothing from the people, Your Honor.
Okay, and this is information that was documented in the incident report, ma'am?
yes,
Okay, and you have a copy of the incident report? Mr.
Yes,
Kelly?
Your Honor, I have a copy right here.
Okay, I'd like to see it.
Yes, Your Honor, permission to approach?
Yes.
I believe. there is.
This might be a different incident. This is. Okay, I think that's a different incident. Okay, you may be excused from the stand now. Do you have any other witnesses?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
Okay. Is the defense calling any witnesses today? Oh, okay, you can make your argument.
Thank you, Your Honor. We heard testimony here today from Ms. Giselle Wilson, who is the house manager, who was a house manager for CMH at the house where Ms. Reed resides. She positively identified Ms. Reed here in the courtroom. She also testified that she was made aware of an incident on September 3rd where Ms. Reed became upset because she had requested her meds and the staff did not give them to her as the timing for her medication was not correct. This caused her to become agitated and aggressive to the point where she grabbed a staff member's hand, causing the staff member to have to suffer a broken thumb. So with that, we would ask that the court find that Ms. Reed has again, guilty of the violation that she displayed of assault of her threatening behavior in violation of her probation on or around September 3rd, 2023, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, upon cross-examination, Ms. Giselle admitted that patients are allowed to advocate for themselves. And so the question becomes, how does a patient advocate for themselves? Ms. Giselle also admitted that Ms. Reed's disease state often causes her to act the way she acts. So Ms. Reed, trying to advocate for herself, acts the way her disease state causes her to act. She reaches out and grabs somebody's hand. I think that the requisite element of intent to hurt somebody or assault somebody is lacking due to the fact that it's probably more her disease state than any sort of intentionality towards somebody in particular that causes her to sometimes behave the way that she does. But ask the court just to consider that she was advocating on her own behalf and seeking medication and treatment, which is ultimately to do.
I struggle with the idea that this is a form of advocacy, and I don't know what Ms. Reed's medical state or medical issue is. I don't really know that it's germane, unless she has a medical issue that makes her unable to control her actions, like impulsively. I don't know that to be the case. That wasn't obviously information that was brought forth today. But in reviewing the incident report, which is what the witness is relying on, it wasn't, at least according to the incident report, it wasn't just that Ms. Reed grabbed someone's hand in an attempt to get their attention and to advocate, but there were threats made, according to the incident report, that she's going to break the person's hand. So that is a requisite intent. That is the intent to cause harm because she wasn't getting what she wanted. And not that she wasn't getting what she needed. It sounded like she was explained that she can't have her medication at a certain amount of time, or a certain time frame within each other. And I can understand that there may be circumstances whereby she can't process that. I can recognize that. This is a situation where we sent Ms. Reed to forensic to be evaluated because of our own concern about her ability to understand the near nature of this criminal procedure. But she was determined to be competent and able to handle processing her the legal ramifications of her actions. She entered a guilty plea, knowingly and freely and voluntarily, and she is placed on a term of probation. And so she needs to understand that there's consequences as it relates to her actions. I think even at the time that she was evaluated, there was a concern about her aggressiveness with staff because she would become angry. I don't know if that's or direct result of a medical issue, or if that's a mental issue that she's dealing with. I think there is something that causes her to lash out or become angry and aggressive, but that doesn't mean that we can let that go without consequence. You understand that? You understand that you can't put your hands on people unless somebody is harming you? Was somebody harming you?
No.
Okay. You don't have it's, none of us have the right to put our hands on someone else unless we're defending ourselves. And unless you were defending yourself in that situation, you don't get to threaten people, harm, and you should not be putting your hands on anybody. There are other ways and other tools that you can use to advocate for yourself. You understand that? Do you know what some of those other ways are so that you can advocate if you believe you're supposed to get medication? You don't, so what, if you're in, this is a group home, correct? If you're in this group home and then there's a technician there and you believe that you should have your medication and they believe or disagree, is there someone else you can report that to?
They won't respond to me now.
Who won't respond to you?
We have on-call person that we talk to. And every time I call them, sometimes they won't answer.
If you ever called because you needed medication
Yes, and they don't answer for me.
and you don't get an answer ever?
You know,
Okay, so if the technician doesn't give you medication, when would you get your medication? When and how?
they say around 9, but sometimes I do wake up late. I'm not gonna lie, and sometimes I do wake up early. And that day I feel like I woke up early, and I just want my meds at 8 because I don't take them at 9. I take them at 8. That's what the hospital told me.
Okay, but you feel like you woke up at a certain time. You're not sure?
I woke up at around like 7 or 8.
Okay, and so you believe there was time for you to get your medication?
Yes,
Okay, and if they gave it to you at 9 versus 8 because they believe that you woke up at 9, would that cause you some harm?
I think so because I'm supposed to take them at 8.
You're supposed to take them at 8 if you took the first dose at 8 though, correct?
No, I take the first dose. I take my medicine at 8 in the morning, and I take them 8 at night.
You're supposed to, but you have to have taken that first dose at 8 though, correct? Do you know for sure that you took your first dose at 8? Okay, do you know if they take a log of when they give you medication?
I guess so.
It's typical. I don't know anything about this group home, but I've worked in other settings.
Just say they take
They
long.
typically have to log when they give out medication. So do you think that it's possible that they knew what time they gave you medication?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and so you're in this group home because you need some custody and care or assistance with your care, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you don't think it's appropriate to allow them to assist you with that care?
I do think it's appropriate, ma'am.
Okay, and so under what circumstances would you believe it's appropriate for you to threaten to break someone's hand?
It wasn't appropriate, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Okay, under what circumstances would you think it would be appropriate for you to touch anybody?
That wasn't appropriate either. I was just trying to get my meds, ma'am.
You don't get to put your hands on people. And I don't, based on this conversation we have here, I don't think that you have an issue with understanding that. I believe you understand that. The recommendation was from your probation officer was to continue your probation, which is scheduled to end in December, but to impose a jail term of 2 days, 1 weekend in jail. There's 2 reasons why I'm not going to do that. Putting someone in jail for 2 days is enough to drive the jail crazy. Because by the time they process anything, you have to come out. I don't believe that it would be in your best interest to have to go through that process. And I think that also could affect what time you get medication, trying to go into jail and be processed just to turn around and come back out. I don't think that's necessary. I'm going to admonish you, which means our discussion that we have here is supposed to be your understanding that you don't put your hands on anybody else. If that is the case, that it would be, I think, that appropriate for criminal charges to be brought against you because of an assault. You don't want that, do you?
No, ma'am.
That's, your actions is what got you here before, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you want to be more thoughtful about what you're doing and how you're interacting and advocating for yourself. You can advocate for yourself without putting your hands on someone. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm not saying that someone's trying to harm you, you don't have the right to defend yourself. But they have to be physically harming you and you or believe you're being physically harmed. And so you have to defend yourself. This is not a situation here where you needed to defend yourself. Even if you were right that you had taken your medication at 8 o'clock, you would have been okay if you had waited for them to give you your medication. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. And if you had a broken hand, she probably couldn't get you your medication, could she?
No, ma'am.
So that's not the best way to advocate, huh?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to continue your probation at this time. I am going to extend it 30 days. And so your probation will end on the 12th of January. My expectation is that you're gonna continue to follow the orders of probation, which is for you to not engage in any assaultive or threatening behavior, and to follow the rules as it relates to where you're staying. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Any additional matters for the record?
Nothing from the people, Your Honor.
Nothing for the defense. Thank you.
You're all set.
You have a good day, ma'am.
You too.
Thank you.
Mr. Bartlett.
Motion to approve.
Yes. Okay, on the record in the matter of the people, you're all set. Okay. On the record in the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Naon Watkins, file number 23-00304, council appearance.
Jeff Brodowitz on behalf of the people, Your Honor.
Assistant Public Defender John Lee on behalf of Naon Watkins, who's in courtroom today.
Okay, Mr. Watkins, how are you?
Good. How about you?
I'm doing well, thank you. And this violation. Okay, I have a violation that you were previously arraigned on. It said you failed to report to probation on September 27, 2023, that you failed to submit to random drug testing at Reality Counseling on October 2nd, that you failed to provide proof of mental health counseling. And then there's a note here that you failed to report in October, which should have been an additional violation. Are we having a hearing?
No, we are not.
You want to plead guilty to those violations? Mr. Watkins, raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give is the truth and the whole truth under penalty of perjury? Put your hand down. You understand your right to have a hearing on these violations? Okay, you understand your right to contest the validity of the violations? You're willing to waive that hearing? Anybody threatening you to get you to waive it?
No.
Anybody make any promises to you if you waive your hearing?
No, ma'am.
As to the violation that you failed to report to your probation officer on September 27, 2023, how are you pleading? As to the violation that you failed to submit to random drug tests or testing at Reality Counseling on October 2nd, 2023, how do you plead?
Guilty.
And as to the violation that you failed to provide proof of mental health counseling to your probation officer, how do you plead?
Guilty.
Factual basis?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Watkins, on or about May 1st, 2023, did you enter a guilty plea to malicious destruction of property less than $200?
Yes, sir.
And then on or about June 26, 2023, were you sentenced to probation in regard to that guilty plea?
Yes,
And that was here in the city of Lansing, County of Union State. of Michigan.
yes,
And as part of your probation, you were ordered to report to your probation officer, correct?
yes,
You were ordered to participate in random drug testing, correct?
yes,
And you were ordered to provide proof of counseling completed to your probation officer, correct? And so then, did you fail to report to your probation officer on September 27th, 2023?
yes,
And did you fail to submit to random drug testing at reality counseling on October 2nd, 2023?
yes,
And did you fail to provide proof of your mental health counseling to your probation officer?
yes.
No further questions.
Mr. Barros, any questions?
Nothing from the people, Your Honor.
First, satisfied with the factual basis, I'll accept your plea, find your plea to be freely, voluntarily, and intelligently made. Other recommendations from your probation officer is to impose a term of jail time. It says the defendant has been provided proof of mental health counseling. Defendant failed to report in September. It says defendant missed test and needs consequences for his actions. And as of November 8th, the defendant failed to report in October. Did you report in November?
This month.
Correct.
I don't even know what I'm supposed to report.
You don't know when you're supposed to report?
No.
Why do you not know when you're supposed to report?
How do you make a whole new email? I don't have his number, anything.
You had to make a whole new email?
My phone got stolen October 2nd.
Okay, and why didn't you contact probation to find out when you're supposed to report?
Because I was not thinking.
What do you think is going to think for you if you don't think?
Nobody.
Okay, who do you think is going to take care of this? Mr. Lee?
No. So,
Are you in counseling?
yes,
Where?
like stamps.
Okay, and why haven't you provide evidence of that?
I asked my therapist for a release form. She said she can't give it to me. And I talked to my fiance, who also goes to life stamps, who's got a release form. I don't ask my therapist, I called the office here in the Lansing area. So I asked the wrong person for the release.
Okay, and you never followed up on that?
I just found that out today. I've been trying to figure out. And I've been working a lot.
Where are you working?
Anything someone in recovery?
Okay, and your phone was stolen?
Yes,
When?
October 2nd.
Okay, but you failed to report before your phone was stolen.
My phone was stolen, I totally forgot what day I was supposed to report. That's on me. I made the mistake. I didn't report. I didn't take my responsibility like I should.
How long have you been on probation?
5 months.
Midway through, you just forgot what day you're supposed to report.
Let's see.
Who's gonna think for you if you don't think?
Nobody.
You have $644.14 of restitution. And fines and costs. You haven't paid a cent.
I'm not paying next week.
Your probation officer were kind of light on you. You didn't do anything. Only thing I ordered you to do was 6-month probation, pay these fines and costs, attend mental health counseling, and that you were going to do random PBTs. You're not doing anything. You were supposed to get off probation in the next 26 days. That was gonna be your Christmas gift, I guess. You're supposed to get off on the 26th. But guess what you're not gonna get now? If it wasn't for the fact that you were employed, I'd put you in jail right now. I don't have to go back and forth with you and wonder if you're gonna think or not. It's your responsibility to take care of your business. You find out and remember what your report date is. You don't need a phone to remind you of what day you're supposed to report. Even if you lose your phone, you have the ability to report because your probation officer is in this building. Your probation officer is in this building every week. And if you had lost your phone, you could communicate it with them. If you had, I bet you when you lost your phone, you didn't lose contact with your girlfriend. You didn't lose contact with your job. You didn't lose contact with your family members. Everything that you thought was a priority, you kept in contact with and you made it happen. You didn't prioritize this. And this is your last time not prioritizing your legal issue, because if you don't take care of this, and I want proof of mental health counseling within the next 7 days. I want a payment within the next 7 days, and you report to your probation officer within the next 7 days, or else you're gonna do 30 days in Ingham County Jail. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm extending your probation 90 days. And I'm ordering you to test 2 times a month for the next 90 days. Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
When you leave here, you go down 1 floor and you find your probation officer and you align your time frame in your mind about when you're supposed to be reporting and make it happen so we don't have to sit you down in jail for 30 days and risk losing your job. Any additional matters for the record?
Nothing from the people, Your Honor.
Nothing for the defense, right?
You're all set.
Is it twice a month? Is the test?
Twice a month.
Not related to any of these, Your Honor, but with the, since Ms. Nash isn't here this week, with the jury instructions, the witness list and exhibit list, do you still want me to send those to her? Or,
You would still send them to her and CC me.
okay, have those later tonight, or later today.
Yeah, so if you wait a second, we'll walk the file down. We'll do a number of records, girls, and we'll make it up.
Ms. Gill, thank you, John.
456 more days.